All right, today I want to talk to you about 5 signs you're idling money. Um, and the reason why I felt the need to record this is because we're like in my business, I meet a lot of different people. I was just recording a podcast episode with an amazing podcaster, and he was interviewing me, and I just felt like, man, this is what we were talking about for his audience. This is something that most people experience. And we had uncovered a couple of things that I hadn't yet uncovered. Have you ever had that conversation with someone and you're in the process of revealing it to yourself as you're telling them? Has that ever happened to you? You're like, wow, I can't believe, yeah, I guess that is true. Moment. And the moment was me sharing about how I don't justify my prices or the investment to work with me based off how I felt. And he said, well, it could be that you're too low in price. Like this is like basically the context of the conversation is you may be too low in price or you're too high and you need to kind of come down. I said, actually, I would challenge that latter thought with the belief that I shouldn't put a limit to the amount someone could pay me for the value because I myself I believe that I have more value to offer than something that is can be justified with a price. Like if I wanted to charge $1 million, I could because there are people and businesses and entities that are charging $1 million, and it's normal. It's completely normal. You think about buying $1 million house. That means that someone is charging $1 million for that house. It means that that is worth the value of $1 million. So it's not that $1 million is like something this, it's unbelievable or unrealistic. It is something that is real and it should be understood. And I took a step back after we recorded and I thought to myself, how would people know that they are idling money? And I think the problem is that there is this scripture that the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil, not money in itself, because God gave us money. Like he gave us precious things. He gave Adam and Eve precious gemstones and gold. Like, what would they need that for? There was no need for it. There was no request for it. God never told them to do anything with it. It was just there. That's an indication that God intentionally wanted us to have something of value in our access, to have access to something of value, and it was more than ourselves. It was more than an exchange for our time, our labor, our energy, our thoughts. It had to be something that was separate from ourselves. That was the clue. That was the clue, is that when we're creating value, when we're creating wealth, when we're establishing and defining what legacy looks like and that what God is calling us to do and build, that we're not measuring it based off what our abilities are, but the value that we deliver into the world. And that in and of itself is the creation of wealth. And I wanted to bring a couple of scriptures. And so there are 5 signs. The first sign is I'm not understanding what wealth is. So what this looks like in Proverbs 10:22, the blessing of the Lord makes rich and he adds no sorrow with it. Rich, like rich. Like you are rich. Like say it aloud. I am rich. You are rich. You are rich. The only thing that you're missing from your environment is your access to your riches. Because everything is already stored up, everything is already set aside, your plan has already been completed. You're just walking through the steps to align with what has already existed in heaven. So, if that's the case, you are already rich. Whether or not we get there in this lifetime or not, It's up to you. You get to decide that. You get to decide that that is the part of the control that God has given us. He's like, here is the opportunity for you to decide to love me or to love something other than me. And if we decide to love him, he'll always show us how to get rich. Why? Because it's not about just being rich and like having a mansion and having famous cars and being able to post all these sexy photos and like all these attractive, MTV crib photos. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with what the wealth is actually going to unlock so that people can serve the Lord. That is why richness exists. That's why money exists. It's not so that we just take care of ourselves and make sure that we pay our bills. Like that is a dangerous place to be. And I'm saying that from someone that used to believe that. Used to work in corporate America, and that's all I thought. I thought, well, I can't leave my job. I was freelancing for 13 years believing that lie. I can't leave my job because I need to pay my bills. Who's going to pay my bills? Who's going to take care of me? I got to take care of me. I have to be responsible for me. I have to show up for me. And that all sounds great until you put it in the right context. Reading the scripture again from Proverbs 10:22 says, the blessing of the Lord makes me rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. So the blessing of the Lord, how does he bless me? He blesses me by doing by in the process of doing what he has called me to do, and then he blesses me. There's a cause and effect to everything. Ecclesiastes 5:10 says, whoever loves money never has enough, and whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. So whoever has money never has enough. Or sorry, whoever loves money, the love of money. Meaning I am idolizing. I am elevating money. I love money and how it smells and tastes. And it's like a crisp and I can tell like I've studied money and like I just need it, I need it, I need it. That is love of money. This is how what's really interesting is that I see that poor people do this more than rich people. We're always like poking at the rich, right? The 1%. Why don't they take their billions and give $100 per person or $1 million per family throughout the world and there would not be any more scarcity? Here's the thing. We don't know what God has told them to build. We don't know why God has allowed them to have those billions of dollars. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know the plan for that. We don't know if that was for us. So who are we going to tell them to take that money that they have acquired based off their earning of what their strategy, their plans, or identity has allowed them to get and then tell them to give it to somebody else because someone else couldn't do it for themselves. No, it has an identity. It's an identity problem when you're poor. It's a poor identity. It's an identity of like, I just need enough. I can stay small. I don't need a lot. My life, I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot. I don't have a lot of things or responsibilities. Those are lies from the devil because God doesn't call us to take care of ourselves. God always calls us to serve other people. Now, one disciple said, you know what? I'm just going to accumulate wealth. Or, you know what? I'm good. Jesus is gone. I got Holy Spirit. I'm going to deuces. I'm going to go take care of my responsibility. Never, not once. Never, not once. It was always about legacy. It was always about serving other people. Even the things that happen to you and I every single day, the tragedies, the excitement, the congratulations, the highs and lows, and everything between that happens on a regular basis every single day. The stories that are being created in real time, the history, the herstory that is happening in real time. That's actually not for you. That's for someone else that you're supposed to serve with that story. So why would it not be any different with money? Because technically, if we look at it scientifically, money is made of the same anatomy as everything else, including us. It's all energy. It's all energy. That's it. It has a different form. It has a different name. It has a different purpose. And God put a soul in us. That's what's different about all of the things that God has created is the fact that we have a spirit that gets to connect directly with Him. There's nothing else. Everything else is was created and it just exists. Like I have two dogs. I love my dogs. Lincoln Lex, love them. They don't have souls. Sorry, they don't. They were created to do a thing. They don't talk, even though I want to believe they do, and I make fun of them when they look at me like what, and they do silly things, and it seems like they have characteristics and personality, and they that might be true, but they're not conjugating and processing through thought and strategy like I am. They're not responding and reacting to things and thinking like next time I'm, like coming up with a New Year's resolution. That's not going to happen, right? They're not going to do that. Why? Because that's not something that God put into them. God put that in us. So when we are focused on money, that is when money stops coming. There's a great book by Ken Honda, and he's talking about really just improving his relationship with money, and he's just walking us through that, and it's just a great book. I'm gonna look that up. While I'm just gonna scroll it up. It just kind of came to mind right now. And what I love about the book is how honest he gets in the book because he doesn't say that, oh, like, oh, automatically, like everything worked out for my life as soon as I had a better relationship with money. No, it was a process. It was a process. The book's called Happy Money by Ken Honda. And he writes in the book how he didn't realize he had a bad relationship with money until money just stopped, like it stopped doing what he expected it to do. He was like, what's happening? And then when he started healing his relationship with money, then he realized that this is something that a lot of people experience and I want to share it with more people. And so he started sharing it. And there's really fun stories on how he goes throughout that. But it made me think about what my relationship with money was. I remember growing up, my relationship with money was based off what I saw my family or my parents use money for and how they used it and what they used it for and their psychological responses to money. I remember I heard my mom say, we like never struggled, but like I don't know. I think it's honestly a cliche, and I think people just say it just to say it, just like out of frustration and anger and anxiety. But I remember she said, she was writing a check and she said, the bills don't stop coming. And the way she said that, I was like, "Oh, that's awful. The bills don't." And so I grew up and I'm like, I want to pay all of my bills off. Like I don't want to ever have debt, right? And then I learned like there's good debt and bad debt. And I was like, it's impossible. So my mind, like I'm like in my 20s, like thinking there's debt and bad debt. Like I'm confused. And then I had wealthy people telling me, like billionaires telling me, well, actually there is good debt and bad debt. And I was just like, what? That's crazy. Like I would never want to be in debt. And I'm just holding on to this belief about money. Whether you believe that or not, that there is good money and bad or good debt and bad debt, it's up to you. That's not why I'm here. But what I am saying is that there is a belief that sticks with us about money, and it usually comes from the way that we were introduced to it. It's very dangerous. Like when I remember when I was working for this was like years ago. This is like 20 years ago. I was working for a small business right out of college, and they would bring their kids home to the office after school. And so you see the kids coming in and out, and then they would be like, this one guy would just talk to his kids, but teaching him and educating him as he goes, right? And one day I came in and I was like under the weather and I was not feeling so great. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna, like have too much attention. I might even go home because I'm not feeling good. I'm sneezing, coughing, just like, ugh, gross. And at that time, I felt like I needed to go. Like, have you ever felt like you just need to be there regardless of how you felt? Like, you just need to make it. You just need to have it. You need to see your face, kind of thing. Actually, that was another belief that I had accepted from someone. They just need to see your face, and then, like, as if like I'm not integrous, right? But anyway, so and they came up to me and he was like, "Hi, this is my son, nice to meet you." And he put his hand out and I was like, "No, I'm not feeling well." Like, I kind of like closed my hand and I said, "No, I'm not feeling well. I don't want to get you sick." And the guy was like, the manager at the time, he was like, he looked at his kid and he says, "Never reject introducing yourself and shaking someone's hand." And I stood there and I was like, "Wow, okay." Like, just this is how people educate their kids, and that's okay. You could educate your kid with whatever you want. That's okay. This is not the story, but the point is that we all do it. Even if you don't have kids, you still do it. If you're around children, if you are around other people and you're talking about your beliefs and your identity and what you believe in, what you spent your time in, and it actually is projected through what you wear, how you act, what you say, it's all impacting someone else's belief on the thing. Whether it's to instill it, like it did for me when a billionaire is like, "Yeah, there's good debt, bad debt." And I'm like, "No," right? I'm pushing away that idea because early on in life, I believed that was not true. I believed that everything was debt and all bills are bad and everything like that. And so I thought to myself, well, I need to stay small so that I don't have a lot of debt. Well, staying small is actually delaying the plans that God has for you. Plain and simple. There is Proverbs 13:11 says, "Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it." It took me a long time to understand what that meant. Yes, money doesn't come like 0 to a million overnight. However, money does have characteristics and it has a way about itself that when we truly understand what it does, we're no longer afraid of it and we're happily giving it wherever and whenever we need to or want to. And the reason why I say that, I remember we had this was like maybe it was a year or 2 years into my business and we like money was coming. It was just flowing. It was flowing. I had all this cash. And I withdrew $1,000. I was just like, I want to have $1,000 in my wallet, like at all times. I want to be able to have that type of cash so that I can spend it on things, like we had all of our expenses paid and like our team was paid and like we had savings, taxes, and like I had already paid myself and like all this stuff. And then we still had left over. And I thought, I'm just gonna take $1,000 and if something comes up for the business, then I can pay it. And I realized in that moment that that was me breaking the belief that just enough is not ever enough for God. When we're building something, it does take it is incremental, but it's always going to show to us the fruits of our labor, right? Like we plant a seed and then we expect if we plant an apple seed, then we're going to get an apple tree, right? We don't plant an apple seed and then expect an orange tree. But it takes time. It's incremental. It doesn't happen overnight. Why? Because it's stronger, it's stealthier. It increases the anticipation. It increases the beliefs and the identity of the thing. It's like when I know that I'm about to have an apple tree, man, oh man, I'm thinking I need to have a whole bunch of people that need apples. What am I going to do with all these apples so they don't go to bad? How do I can them? How do I store them? I'm going to make so many things. I make apple bread and apple jerky and apple this and apple that because I have so many apples. Now, if it happened overnight, it wouldn't allow me to come up with different ideas in anticipation to get the thing. But a lot of people just want the solution. They're like, scratch off the lottery ticket and let me just have the thing. And what we know that God does, He doesn't give us the thing immediately. Like when we ask for patience, what happens, right? If we ask for wisdom, what happens? If we ask for sight, what happens? If we ask for intelligence, what happens? Like he teaches us how to acquire it and how to grow it. It doesn't happen overnight. And it's the same thing for money. Now, does that mean that we just stop wanting to get more money? No. It means that we put our money in places where it can grow. Put it in places we can grow. Can it grow in a savings account? If you were asking me. However, I'm not a financial expert at any kind. This is not suggestions or coaching, consulting in any way. But if you're asking me and said, Melinda, would you put your money in a savings account? I would say for a short time, like really short. If it's not working for me, I ain't working it. I'm gonna put it in something that I can leverage, like money market account or something like that. Like still I have access to it, or stock or something like that. Very rarely do I take and hold a lot of cash because it's just sitting there. It's depreciating, and I don't do depreciation. Okay, I do leverage. Um, and then so here's the second sign. So the first sign is like creating wealth without wisdom, creating wealth without knowledge, creating wealth just to like solve a problem, really emotional with wealth. Wealth, money in itself is not emotional. Ken talks about this in his book. Money itself is not emotional, it's actually logical. It's not emotional. We put emotion on the money, but it's actually not. Like it doesn't respond to emotion, it responds to logic. Let me give you an example. So I remember I was in college and I remember they used to like there's these banks and credit cards and stuff like that. They'd go to colleges and just because it was an easy sign, like everybody would get qualified because you just got out of high school. You're in college, you want some credit, like you get to cash, blah, 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 whatever. So I remember getting a credit card. I don't even remember what it was called, but I remember the card, it was green. And I don't remember how much it was for. I really honestly don't. And I just remember getting, I was like, oh my God, I got qualified. I got a card in the mail. And then I activate it, I start using it. And everything is emotion. Like I used it for lunch and I used it to go out with friends. I used it to buy a new coat. I used it this and used that. And then when the bill came in, I was like, oh my gosh, how do I pay this? I'm laughing now. And I was terrified. I was like, oh my gosh, how do I pay this? Oh, did it stop me from using the card? No, because it felt great. So I was like swiping, 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 charging, charging, charging. And the bill kept coming, coming, coming. And I got to the point where I was like, I got to do something about this. So I had to get a job. I did some freelance. I was like, figure it out, pay the minimum, which is another lie. But anyway, so pay the minimum. I'm like, pay the minimum. That's what everybody tells me to do. Pay the minimum. It's all about pay the minimum. And I paid the minimum. Do you guys know that I paid that dang on minimum for years? Like I was still paying that card. I had stopped using it because there was no money left. And then I still paid it for years later because I believe that I needed to pay the minimum. And every time I remember, I got used to get the bill in the mail and I look at it, I'm like, oh, like I'd get so frustrated and upset and angry at myself because I didn't use money right. I didn't understand how money was supposed to be used. And so because of that, I didn't want to deal with it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to like I just kind of wanted to go away. I want to just go away. I wanted to shut up. I wanted to just disappear. And I'm sharing that with you now because obviously I don't do that anymore. And when I stopped doing that, I stopped reacting with money. I stopped being emotional with money. I stopped spending with emotion. Money started coming to me because there was worthiness in my ability to understand how money works. Like, shoot, I'll go to Target. Put me in Target. I will fill that cart up so fast. And then I will justify every purchase. But here's the thing, what I do is I learn what not to put in my cart. I'm like, I don't need that. What do I need that for? I don't there's no purpose for that. I don't have a purpose for this. I don't have a purpose for that. Do I go into like shop for myself? Very rarely. Mostly it's like actual thing like light bulbs, like aluminum paper or aluminum foil or whatever it's called. Like those are the things that I'm shopping for because I'm thinking that I can do this and then that can do that and then that can do that and then this can do that. So I started thinking strategic about money and naturally I just stopped spending so much money. It was like it didn't happen overnight. It was like this muscle that just started building. So the second sign that you idle money is there it is. Not being responsible with money. So like me just kind of ignoring the credit card bill, ignoring it, just like, oh, I'll deal with it later. Oh, I gotta deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. It just didn't make the thing go away. It just got louder. It just got louder. And what happened is, like, if you're looking at the screen, I'm going to show you. What happened is I was here and the credit card was here and I was using it, using it, using it, using it, using it. As the balance kept growing, my identity kept falling because I wasn't using money right. And eventually, money became my master because it controlled where my money went. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like that feeling. Got this like I don't know. I was in a hospital in 2022 and I got a bill in the mail and it's 2026. I'm like 4 years later. What is this for? Call the hospital. I'm like, hey, can you explain like what this is? I have no idea what this is. It's like 4 years ago. And the lady that picked up in the billing department, she goes, yeah, I see it here. It's like it's sitting here. And I was like, I have never seen a notice like where do you have the right address? Like, I want to make sure that this is accurate. Like, why isn't, you know, and old Melinda would never do that. She just like pay it and move on, right? Or, hey, can I do a payment plan? Blah, blah, blah. Not even understand what it is. And so I'm talking to her, and I'm just like trying to understand, like, what does this come from? Where is this going? Da, da, da. And so she's like, yeah, like it looks like it went to a third party company and they came back. And I said, why? Did they try to attempt calling? Like, what was the thing? And she was like, no, it doesn't actually say. It was like immediately returned. And I said, okay, so why would that happen? And I'm like, just no emotion, just logically having conversations. So she tells me the amount. And I wrote it down. It was like $2,400. And she tells me the 24, she was like $2,417.41. And I was just like, okay. And just didn't say anything. I'm like writing everything down. She says, I know that's a lot of money. So you might not have that right now. And I just let her talk. And the whole time she was talking, I'm like, Lord, I hear how I hear her relationship with money with the words she's using. Never, not once I said that $2,700 is a lot of money. I just said, okay. And I'm writing. There was no reaction. There was no response. There was nothing. So for her to make that assumption, she believes that $2,700 is a lot of money. And if she believes $2,700 is a lot of money, she's going to make everybody else think that $2,700 is a lot of money based off what she believes. This is one of the things I believe stop people from becoming entrepreneurs and being successful in business, because what their belief is in the thing that they deliver is not the price of what you should charge someone else. It is way lower every single time. What the market says you're valued, your offer is valued, not you, but your offer is valued at versus what you think you're valued at is completely different every single time. So with relationship with money, being responsible with money means you're not just hiding from it, but you're understanding it, you're researching it, you're learning about it, you're teaching it to other people, including to yourself. You're studying it. It's just your mastery. You become a master at it. Mastery requires unconscious effort, meaning that you're not emotional about it at all. It's just there. It helps solve problems. It solves a lot of problems. In fact, the Bible talks about solving problems with money. Um, m- Abraham did it. We were in the midst of talking about Abraham in Bible study, and Abraham did it all the time. I mean, he wanted to get the burial site in Canaan for Sarah, and his friend was like, the guy that owned the land, I'm gonna say his friend, his associate, guy that owned the land said, "Oh, just take it. It's okay. You don't have to pay me. Ah, between friends, no big deal." Abraham was like, "No, how much is it?" And he paid out of pocket. Doesn't Wouldn't you love to be there for the loved ones, to be there and to provide for your loved ones no matter what they have, whatever they need? Someone is sick, someone has passed away, someone just had a kid, someone needs something, and you're able to help. Proverbs 31, the Proverbs 31 woman that is written, it says that she has opened her hand to the poor and reaches her hands out to the needy. I mean, she's like, she's got more than enough for them, but they need. She's like, just take what you need. Take what you need. Unbelievable. That means that we are required to have money. Okay. Third sign that you idle money is that you're stingy and you don't like to give. In fact, you measure your giving based off what you're going to get in the return, the law of cause and effect. You think, oh, well, I'm going to give and then eventually God is going to give me back or they're going to owe me money. That is evil. Okay, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it that way because that's how it is. A generous person, Proverbs 11:25. A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. When you give freely, you will be free and you will be able to receive freely. 2 Corinthians 9:6 says, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. Whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Generous means I'm just give, give, give. With closed eyes, no. You know where you're putting it. You know how you're going to apply it. You know, like you're doing it in this specific way. It's not just willy nilly, just frivolous. I'm just going to start giving. I'm going to stand on the top, the highest building and just start throwing 20 and $100 bills. No, that's not what God wants you to do. It's not stewardship. So giving it's about being generous. It's about giving with an open heart. It's about giving because you want to give. It's about being grateful to give. Oh man. I going back to that 1,000 books I had in my wallet. I was leaving Publix and I saw this woman and she was sitting on the curb next to her car, and I thought to myself, "My gosh, what's going on?" And I was with Raphael, and we kind of like pulled over, and I was just like, "Honey, let's see what she needs." So I like rolled out my window. I said, "Hey, you okay? You good?" And she's like really upset and sad, and like looking at her phone, and she's just looking. My heart was just like, "Oh, we need to help her." Do you know how grateful I am right now to be able to have said that I was able, like, it's not bragging. I'm not bragging. I'm just sharing a story and saying, like, how important it is for us to be able to help people with the gift. This is not money, my money. This is God's money. He gave it to me so that I can do good with it. And so I was like, okay, well, I have 1,000 bucks in my wallet. Hmm, what do you need? She's like, I need to get home. I'm just trying to get home. I said, "How much do you need to get the car fixed?" And she's like, $3,000. It was something like it was a lot to give a regular person. And whatever the amount was, I don't remember what it was. And I looked at Raphael. I said, and he was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Okay, come on in." Now, I don't recommend that you guys do this, especially in today's world. Um, I was moved by the spirit, and so that's what I'm gonna say is just make sure that you're in alignment with the spirit before you allow someone that you do not know into your car. But we drove to the bank, got the money out in our person from our personal account. We gave her the money, and then we drove her home. It wasn't about the money. It was about the ability to serve freely. And when you serve freely, it just feels so, so good. It's like give them what they need. I mean, look, she could have gone and bought whatever she wanted with it, never spent a dime on that car. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's not up to me. What's up to me is being able to serve that person and giving them an opportunity to serve God with it. All right. The fourth sign that you idle money is you start loving money. Now, what's really interesting is loving money doesn't look like loving money. Loving money looks like, most of the time, it looks like needing money. I need. Like, you think about a spouse or an old ex, right? And you feel like this need, I need to talk to them today. I need you in my life. I need to see you. I don't know what I would do. I would die, right? This is very idolatry. Okay. It's idolatry. That's what it is. There's nothing and no one. I don't care if you're married with kids and nothing. God comes first above everything. Anything that you need or want in life comes from God. And so the only person and the only time that you would ever say or could ever say or should ever say you need is when you are talking to the Lord. Lord, I need you. I want you more of you, Lord. Jesus, be with me. Holy Spirit, come to me, please. I need you. I need you in my presence. You know how many times I have called out to the Lord and He has come to me. I remember, it was a few months ago. It was like six months ago, maybe. And I was having a bad month. It was like awful, and I was just like, I remember it was during our nightly prayers, and I said out loud, I was like, Lord, please come, give me a hug, please. Like, I need you. I need your hug. I need your hug. I need your hug. And I was like, Amen. We finished our prayer and everything. And I laid down, and I kid you not, it felt like someone was hugging me. And I was like crying. I was like, thank you so much for answering my prayer. I just needed that. That's all I need. I just needed a hug. I just needed to be reminded that you love me. That's it. Thank you so much for answering my prayer. When we start needing money, oh, I need to pay this bill. I need to pay the rent. I need money, money, money. Lord, please send me the money. We miss the mark. It's not about the money. It's about our ability to serve somebody else to get money in return. So it's not about, okay, let's make this about a transaction. No, it's about service. Let's make it about service. This is how, I mean, honestly, I have seen people become like figuraires to multimillionaires in just a few years just by serving. That's all they do. They just serve. They just all they do, they serve. They're like, here's my price, and I would love to serve you. And the person has to make the decision on their own in order to say yes. That's it. That's all. And then they serve and then they get great results and they help people over and over again. And that's how they make money. And it's like so simple, but yet what happens is the enemy wants us to think of like it's a transaction, especially, the types of deals that I'm around and like in the environment that I'm in, I'm seeing, and I pray about this often, like when I start feeling that, but I start feeling like, man, these numbers are so big. Like, and then after a while, I'm like, oh, yeah, like to 2,700 bucks. I'm like, it's whatever. It's like like coins. Like in my mind, I'm just like, no, that is a lot of money. Like that's like for people, like the majority of the world, that is a lot of money. And so like it's just sometimes it takes me out of understanding what it's like to be someone who gets gas. Like, you know, I don't get gas. My husband gets the gas. And so I have no idea how much gas is. I don't know how much we pay for gas. I have no idea. None. We get what we want, like organic. One week, um, last month, we bought non-organic, like just regular. regular produce, regular food, like non-organic. We went to this market that just sells all this food and stuff like that. And I was shocked. And so I was just like, well, then get more. I was like, get more meat, get the, no, no, no. I'm like, this is insane. We would spend like, this is not even equal to 1 week of our spending in groceries. Like, come on, let's like accumulate. We're still eating through all that food. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. But I'm saying that because like sometimes our like God doesn't see money the way that we see money. God sees it as a tool to create to offer service, to provide more service and serve the world. And so when we think about money, it's like most people think about money as a solution. Like I need more money so that I can solve this problem. I need more money so that I can get this done. Whatever it is, like this is the outcome, so I need more money. And God is teaching us, God is wanting us to understand is that we're not supposed to love money, we're supposed to love God. And then God will give us what we need. And that's it. We're supposed to be relying on God, not money. Timothy, 1 Timothy, 1 Timothy 6:10, it says, for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. It's the root of the love of money. For the love of money. It doesn't say for the love of money is the root. The love of money. If you love the money, the love of money looks like I need, 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 I need. When you just need, and you're not serving people, not only are you idolizing money, but you are serving yourself, which is selfish. It's not doing the thing that God has called you to do. It's so sneaky, and that's why it's from the enemy. It's very crafty. Matthew 6:24 says, you cannot serve both God and money. You can't say you need God and you need money, or God, I need money. Like that doesn't work. What we need is to understand how to make money. Like Abraham. Abraham goes to Egypt, right? Tries to sell off Sarai. Pharaoh finds out. God comes to Pharaoh and he's like, God, he was like, Pharaoh, don't you touch that woman. Pharaoh was like, you got to get out of here. Take your dowry and get out of here. Right? Abraham is doing all different types of deals. None of them were ever documented as if something like God was disappointed. Never, not once. This man was very rich. He was rich before he became Abraham. He was rich before he went to Canaan. He was rich. So why is that important? Why is that such a detail that changes the entire story? It's because God is not intending for us to sacrifice our entire ability to be in joy, to then just sacrifice every single dollar that we have so that we can pay a bill. Absolutely not. We're supposed to have more than enough because he's an abundant Lord. He's a God that gives us more than enough. He gives us an apple and has seeds in it, which basically the seeds are more trees in seed form. It's insane. Like you make $1, you spend the dollar. What if you made the dollar and the dollar has seeds in them? And those seeds made you trees with more dollars on them. How about that? How about we start seeing the like paying attention to the pattern that God has planted in our lives to see them as purposeful. Okay, and then finally, the fifth sign, you idle money, is being disobedient with money and being ignorant with money. Joshua 1:8 says, keep this book of the law always on your lips. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth. Psalm 112, 1-3 says, blessed are those who fear the Lord. Wealth and riches are in their houses. What? The pattern is there in scripture. I'm reading, like, these are, so what does that mean? That means that are we Are we being prosperous? Are we being intentional about how to create our wealth? Are we thinking like, oh, we just need to create wealth just for ourselves and our kids and our family? Or are we thinking like, we need to create wealth so that we can impact the world? Because God is calling us to impact the world. It might not look like what it looks like for me or someone else. It might look completely different. That's why we have relationship with God. That is why we put him before everything and anything that we could ever imagine or think that we need. We only need God. God will give us all the things that we imagine or think, or beyond that, actually. And so wealth is not condemned in the Bible. In fact, many biblical figures were extremely wealthy. Abraham, Job had a lot of money. He was wealthy. The reading says that he was wealthy, and then God doubled his wealth. Just like think like, okay, I'm gonna okay, let me break your brain for a second. I'm what the types of deals that I see my clients win are like 9 figures, like 100 million, 500 million, a billion, right? These are like real numbers. This is what I'm surrounded by all the time. And so when I come back to the earth, I'm just like, okay, where's the standard in the world? It just hurts my brain because I'm like, if they can do it 100% that you can, but even Solomon himself, he says like the blood that runs in the way the blood runs in my veins is the same way that blood runs in your veins. Like there's nothing different between the two. Yet Solomon was a trillionaire. He was a trillionaire. He was richer than Elon Musk. He was richer than Elon Musk. Trillionaire. Jeez. David, Solomon, these were rich, rich people. In fact, if you go back and look at who Jesus stayed with on his journey, they were all rich people. In fact, when after Jesus died, and the disciples were on their own with the Holy Spirit, and they were trying to figure out their whole discipleship, etc. What do? They raised money. Why is it so important to deal with money? It's because that is on this earth, on this planet, it is a necessity. That is why God gave Adam and Eve gold and precious gems. He gave them because I believe he gave them because it is necessary to fulfill the work of the Lord. It is necessary. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to be. I don't know where to go. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure it out, Melinda. Who would want my thing? God is art. If he gave you the gift of whatever he gave you the gift for or of, he already created the person that needs the thing. They already exist. He, like, you understand, like, God, everything has already been done. When I say that is like every problem that you have, every solution that you have, everything has already been done. It already has been done. Your entire birth year for next year is done. The life that you will be, the person that you will become is done. It already has existed. Not exists. It already existed. And so your job and my job is is like literally just to catch up. Like that's it. We will never fully catch up because delay and discernment and fear and anxiety and stress, the enemy is just that's what he does. But the goal is to keep progressing forward 1% every day. If we just did 1% every day, we'd end the year with 365%. It's 3 times better than the way that we started. Wow. And it's incremental and it's biblical, right? Because we just learned incremental, and I can't find it right now. But, oh, here it is. Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. Proverbs 13:11. Everything that is in the Bible is true. And so if everything in the Bible is true, then it's truth. And it's everything is truth. And that means that that's just what it is. There's no fighting it. It's just working alongside the rules, the laws that God has created in order for us to be the people that He has called us to be. And we can't be afraid of that new identity. We can't be afraid of money because once we put a an identity to money other than it's a tool that we get to use that God created for us, then we relinquish our identity, but we also relinquish our power on this world. We were created in God's image and likeness. And for that, we have to hold true to that. We have to control that. We have to believe that and we have to understand it and identify that we were created in His image and likeness. The enemy wants that. The devil is dying. He is salivating, crouching on the other side of the door, waiting for you to say, I don't want that identity. I don't want it. He wants that so bad. Because as soon as you give that up, it's not only you that he gets to destroy, because he's going to destroy you slowly so that you can't even pay attention or see it happening. He is basically destroying every single person that you're intended to serve. Every single person that needs the solution that you have, he is going to it just doesn't exist. That's why abortion is a terrible idea. That is why working for yourself and only yourself and making sure that you just have enough is a terrible idea because it delays the ability to serve other people that are called to serve the Lord. And when you get in the way of other people serving the Lord, that is sin. So our goal is to stay close to God so that He can help us to navigate the world and derail, just destroy, eradicate any attempts at delay as best as possible because mastery is through consistency and consistency eradicates, it destroys delay. And so you just got to stay consistent. Figure out what is it. Ask God. Just ask Him. Just talk to Him. Like if you need to go on Bluetooth and, just so you can get comfortable praying, just do it. Just be like, Lord, what is it that you want me to do? And I want to take note of it. Take a note, piece of paper out, write it down, and look at it. Take a photo of it, put it in your phone, put it in several places, look at it every single day. Remind yourself because the enemy is waiting. He's crouching on the other side of the door, waiting for you to forget it, waiting for him to like show you something so you ignore what God has already placed in your heart and your life to fulfill. And when you stay close to the God, man, you're gonna go so fast it's like it's going to go so fast and you want to go fast in the right direction. You want to go fast in the right direction. You want to be protected and you want to be guided by the Lord because that's the only way up and through. I love you guys. I hope that serves you and I'll see you next week.